Hey guys, what's up? Welcome to another edition of Learn That Solo. Today we're going to be looking at 2 weeks by All That Remains. This is quite delicious, but also a little tricky, so be warned. Let's take a look.
Still you feel like the loneliness is better replaced by this. I don't
Alright guys, before we get too excited, we just need to talk about the tuning, which is C sharp standard, which goes C sharp, F sharp, B, E, G sharp, and a high C sharp. So get yourself in tune, and we'll get started. Alright guys, let's take a look at the first section. I want to start off with basically what would be in standard tuning, sort of an E minor arpeggio idea. I'm starting from 12th fret of the 6th string, and then I'm going to play 10 of the 5th, and then 9, 10 on the 4th. Then from there I want to jump to 12 of the 5th string, using my pinky for that, and then I want to do a string skip to play 9, 11, 12 on the 3rd string. So back to back. Hopefully that's making sense. And we're just going to take that whole idea up an octave. So now I'm going to start from 14th fret of the 4th string, and I'm going to play 14 there, then 12 of the 3rd and the 2nd string. Notice I'm rolling my pointer finger there, and then I want to end that little phrase on 13 of the 2nd string. Okay? At the end of that, I want to do one more little thing. I'm going to jump to 14 of the 3rd string, and like what we had before, I'm going to do a string skip to play 12, 14, 15 on the 1st string. All together. Hopefully that's all making sense. I want to start the next chunk by doing this now. Let's slow that down. I want to play 12 of the 1st string and 12 of the 2nd string. I'm going to do that idea twice. Jump to 14 of the 1st string and up to 12 of the 2nd now. At the end of that, I'm going to play 15 of the 2nd and then finish on 12 of the 2nd again. So that 12 is kind of like our returning pedaling note. Okay, I do a very similar thing, but now I'm starting from 15 of the 1st string. Let's slow that down. I want to play 15 of the 1st and 15 of the 2nd. Then I play 19 of the 1st and 15 of the 2nd. And then 17 of the 1st and 15 of the 2nd. So all together. At the end of that, a little vibrato on 19 of the 2nd. This is what we should have from the start. Alright, I'm going to do exactly the same thing again, but on the very last chunk, instead of resolving to the 19 of the 2nd string, I'm just going to finish by playing 20 of the 1st string. So everything up until that point is basically exactly the same thing twice, just the final note's different. Alright, let's try both sections, both little chunks back to back with that little changing note at the end, and then we'll do it again even slower with some tabs. And the variation. One more time with some tabs. Alright guys, let's have a look at the second section. I want to work through this in groups of 6. We're working through some pretty simple arpeggio ideas, and they're all going to start with a pull-off. So the first group of 6 that I want to deal with is a pull-off from 15 to 14 on the 1st string, and then I want to play 17 of the second and 16 of the third. Then I ascend back up by playing 17 of the second string and ending on 14 of the first. And that's going to be our first group of 6. And the rhythm and ideas are going to be pretty consistent throughout this section. I'm going to do pretty much the same idea, but instead of starting from 15 to 14 as my initial pull off, I'm going to pull off from 19 to 14, and then the rest of the arpeggio from the next 5 notes from that first pull off are going to be the same. So if we do those 2 groups of 6 back to back. Okay, what I do now is I bring the whole shape back. I'm going to continue this kind of sussy arpeggio shape. I'm doing a pull off from 17 to 12 on the first string, and then I play 15 of the second and 14 of the third. Then I want to play 15 of the second and 12 of the first again. Okay, hopefully that makes sense. Then at the end of that, I want to do a pull off from 15 to 12 and then repeat the next 5 notes of that idea as well. So as you can see, they're a pretty similar idea, just with a different pull off note at the start. We should have kind of 2 sort of arpeggio areas there, and we should have 4 groups of 6 now. Okay, the next thing that I do is sort of 2 little E minor arpeggios if we're in standard tuning. So what I've got here is just a pull off from 19 to 15 on the first string, and then I play 17 of the second, 16 of the third, and then I ascend up in the same manner that we've done all the other arpeggios thus far. I'm going to do exactly the same idea, but this time pull off from 17 to 15 at the start. So 5/6 of that arpeggio, if you will, are exactly the same than the one before it. So we should have 4 groups of 6 now with sort of roughly 3 arpeggio shapes. Alright, we're getting close to the end of this section. I'm going to work through a couple of quick groups of 3. I want to do a pull off from 19 to 15 on the first and play 17 of the second string. And I'm going to do 20 to 15 of the first and then 17 of the second string. And then back to the 19 to 15 idea again, back up to the 17. So it's nearly the same thing 3 times. I'm just cheekily moving that pinky over a fret on the second group. At the end of that, I've got just 17 of the first string with some gentlemanly vibrato. And it will repeat the whole section that we've got thus far twice. So up to here, we'd start again, back to there again. So what I want to do is I want to get the end part of this section, and then we'll do the whole thing twice with the ending and then put it together even slower with some tabs. So let's concentrate on the end now. I'm doing a hammer on going 11, 12, 11. So it's a hammer on into a pull off on the third string, and then I'm going to play 14, 12 on the fourth. Now the next bit, I'm doing a hammer on going 10, 12, 10 on the second string, and then I want to play 12, 11 on the third. Hopefully that's all making sense. And that's just a quick 2/4 bar, so it does sound a little bit out of place and a bit short, but I assure you that's all we need. So let's try and do all the arpeggios twice, and then we'll add in that little 2/4 bar fill at the end of it, and then do it again even slower with some tabs. Here we go. Then again. One more time with some tabs. Alright guys, let's take a look at the third section. I want to start off with the dual bend idea, playing 12 of the second string and 14 of the third. I do that twice, then I work into this. What I'm doing here is a bend on 14 of the third, bringing it down, pulling off to 12, and then hammering back into the 14. So all together, at the end of that, I'm playing 15 of the second string with some gentlemanly vibrato, if you wish it to be. But when I work into this phrase. Alright, let's take that slowly. I've got a hammer-on going 11, 12, 14 on the third, and then a hammer-on going 10, 12 on the first string, and then I'm going to pluck the 14 on the first string. Hopefully that's making sense, and then I want to work into this phrase. What I've got there is a slight bend on 14 of the first string, then I jump to 15 of the second string, and then I'm going to play 12 of the first and 12 of the second. So all together. At the end of that, after I've done that roll with the pointer, what I'm doing here is playing basically some notes out of the blues pentatonic in E minor for in standard tuning. I'm playing 15, 14 to 12 as a pull-off, and then I'm resolving that to 14 of the third. So we've got... Let's try the whole section thus far, and then we'll do the second half. Okay, the next part we start with a little sweep. I'm starting from 14 of the fourth string and playing 12 of the third and 12 of the second. At the end of that, I want to slide. I'm doing a slide backwards from 12 to 11 on the third, and then I'm going to go the slight bend and then some vibrato on the third string from 12. Okay, then after that, I work into this really cool kind of pentatonic-y slidey run with a bit of an arpeggio. Alright, so after we've done the sweep into the slide, let's work through this pentatonic-y idea. I want to do a hammer-on from 12 to 14 on the fourth string. Then I want to play 12 of the third and then slide from 14 to 16 on the third. Okay, as soon as I get to the 16, I've got a little minor arpeggio shape where I'm playing 15 of the second and 14 of the first. So we've got... Once I've gotten to there, I want to play 14, 15, 17 on the first string. At the end of that, I'm doing sort of a full tony vibrato on 17 of the second string. So we've got... I do basically the same thing again from these bottom three notes. So I'm going to play 14, 15, 17 again on the first string. I'm going to bend 17 on the second string now, a tone and a half. After I've brought it back, I'm going to do a hammer-on into a pull-off from 15 to 17. And I'm going to pull that off and I'm going to hit 17 three times. 1, 2, 3. I'm going to finish on the 15. 1, 2, 3. And that's the end of the section. So it's a pretty long section. Let's take it slowly from the dual bends at the start, and then we'll do it again even slower with some tabs. One more time with some tabs. Okay, let's take a look at the fourth section. This starts off with a pretty delicious and simple diatonic run. It's just played quite quickly. I want to start off by playing 12, 14, 15 on the sixth string. And then I'm going to do that idea, but twice on the fifth. So I got that 12, 14, 15 twice on the fifth. All together. And then at the end of that, I'm going to play 12, 14, 16 on the fourth. I'm going to take that whole idea up an octave now. I'm going to play 14, 16, 17 on the fourth string, then 14, 16, 17 on the third string, but we're going to play that twice, just like we had in the previous octave. At the end of that, I'm going to play 15, 17, 19 on the second string. All together. Hopefully that's all making sense. And then we work into this next run. This is pretty redonk. I want to start off by doing a pull-off going 17, 12, 17 as a hammer on the second string. At the end of that, I work into this phrase. So what I've got up here is I've got that pull-off into the hammer. Then I'm going to do a pull-off from 14 to 12 on the first string and then roll to 12 of the second. So we've got... I'm going to do a very similar idea now, but I pull off from 15 to 12 on the first and then roll to the second string. And then I'm going to do the same idea pretty much again, but this time from 17. So we're going to have sort of these building notes. So all together now from the pull off at the start. At the end of that. This is pretty annoying to do. I'm doing a full tone bend. And then getting my pinky involved at the top of that bend. So I was doing the bend from 17, and then the cheeky pinky comes in on 18. At the end of that, like what we had before, we've got 3 hammer-ons into a pull-off, and I just want to end on that pull-off note on 17 the first. So I was going 17, 19, 3 times, and then ending on that 17. Let's try the whole thing again from that big run at the start, and then we'll do the whole thing even slower with some tabs. One more time, some tabs. Alright, section 5. This one is a little bit of a doozy. I'm warning you in advance. It's not too fast, but some of the shapes are a little bit redonk. Let's start from 19 of the first string, and then I'm going to go down an octave to 16 of the third. At the end of that, I'm going to play 17 of the second, and then back up to 16 of the third again. Okay, after that I jump to 20 of the second string. Enough of that, bird. Thank you. And then I go to 20 of the second string, and I'm going to play 17th of the fourth, 17 of the second, back to 17 of the fourth again. So we're going to end up with this. We do a very similar idea on the next movement. It's kind of got an arpeggio vibe to it. I want to do this. So what I'm doing here is I'm playing 17 of the first string, 14 of the third, 15 of the second, and then back to 14 of the third again. Okay, and then I do this. I'm going to play 19 of the second string, and then jump to 16 of the fourth, which is down the octave. And I play 15 of the second string and 16 of the fourth. So what initially made this really annoying for me to play, I found was just all of the string skipping that's going on. Let's try both of these ideas back to back. Okay, hopefully that's making sense. Let's finish it off. So this one's a little bit different. I want to start from 15 of the first string. We're going to play 12 of the third, 13 of the second, back to 12 of the third again. So a familiar shape. Then I want to jump to 14 of the first string and go down the octave to 11 of the third. Then I play 15 of the second, back to 11 of the third. So that last little chunk, hopefully that's all making sense. There's a little bit more at the end, but let's have a look at what we've got from the start. Okay, hopefully that's all making sense. Let's finish it off. So what I'm doing here is working, I guess, around sort of what would be in standard tuning a C major arpeggio. I'm just starting from the third. I'm going to be playing 14 of the fourth string, 12 of the third string, and then I want to play 13 of the second and 12 of the first. Okay, and then after that I play 15 of the second and 14 of the third. So all together, at the end of that, I'm playing 14, 15 on the first string with some gentlemanly vibrato. Let's try and do the whole thing relatively slowly again, and then we'll take it even slower with some tabs. One more time with some tabs. And that was the solo from 2 weeks by All That Remains. Hope you guys have enjoyed that. Catch you real soon.